Now, you may have missed this, something that's captured my attention and imagination. There is a serious drama going on in the world now. No, it's not Russia, it's not Ukraine, it's in the world of chess. In what should really have been a Cinderella story, something like Caddyshack, that they should have made a movie about it. An American teenager, Hans Niemann, snapped the 53-game winning streak of the world champion and maybe, perhaps the greatest chess player ever, Magnus Carlsen. But accusations of cheating have marred the whole thing. And Carlsen now resigned in protest from a rematch with the teenager after just a single move. Have a look at this.
D4, because this is his main move. D4, knight f6, c4. Yeah, definitely. And what? No.
What happened? What? Magnus Carlsen just resigned, got up and left, switched off his camera, and that's all we know right now.
Who knew there was so much drama in the sport of chess? I love chess. I'm hopeless at it, but I love it. Another man who loves it, and he's probably got a lot more talent at it than me, is Paul Power from the Australian Chess Federation. He joins me now. Paul, welcome to Bernardi. Can you explain this scandal to me and to my viewers? Because it is quite fascinating.
Good evening, Corey. Yes, this all began at a tournament which is very high profile, the Sinkfield at St. Louis, USA, where 10 of the top players in the world met to compete for a total prize money of $350,000 and $100,000 first prize. In the first round, the new, shall we say, teenager, Hans Niemann, 19-year-old, played Levon Neronian. Levon Neronian played number 2 for the US team in the recent Chess Olympiad, and he drew. In the next game, he played Shak Majigirov, the number 1 Azerbaijan player for the Olympiad, and he beat him. In the third round, he was up against Magnus Carlsen. The game was quite interesting. For those who know the game, Magnus played the white pieces and Niemann played the Nimzo Indian defence. The game proceeded out of the opening with a slight advantage to Niemann, and a critical point was reached about 40 moves in. And I'll just hold up the position for those who can see it. Now, in this position, it's Magnus Carlsen's move. He has the white pieces, and you can see the arrow here shows that Magnus could capture this pawn. He chose not to capture the pawn, and it turns out that that was a mistake. Instead, he played his bishop to where we can see it here, and Niemann moved his rook across and pinned the bishop. The result was that ultimately Magnus Carlsen lost his 3 pawns and Niemann lost 2, which meant that Niemann had 2 pawns more and there was nothing Magnus could do but lose. So the most objective take that one can take on this is, yep.
Yeah, I
Yes,
just want to interrupt. I mean,
Corey.
so someone's lost. There could be a case of this as being a sore loser, but Niemann has admitted to previously, as a younger man, I think 12 and 14, has admitted that he has received advantage during online chess, which is AKA cheating. What's the allegation here, essentially, that he was using a device or somehow getting information from a chess computer to aid his play?
Okay. Magnus withdrew from the Sinkfield Cup and he gave no reason, but he did tweet something which was a little bit ambiguous. He retweeted a soccer coach, Marino, who said, if I say something, I will be in trouble and I don't want to be in trouble. The inference some people took that to mean was that Carlsen was implying that Niemann had cheated. Now, it's virtually impossible to cheat over the board when there's supervisors. Face-to-face over the board, it's virtually impossible to cheat. It's entirely different online, where you've got a computer screen and you might even have another computer. by your side and you can use the computer to cheat. It's virtually impossible to cheat over the board. Exactly why Magnus chose this way of going is unclear. Yep.
Oh, I'm just going to say, so chess is obviously aware that people have tried to cheat in the past. I understand there are all manner of checks now in person games, so there's no electronic eavesdropping or monitoring or communications. So how is this supported? I mean, it just seems that one of the greatest chess players of all time is become a bit of a sore loser. Is there any evidence to support that some malfeasance has gone on?
Okay. Another Australian grandmaster, David Smurden, who incidentally actually beat Magnus Carlsen several years ago, was recently reported as saying there's objectively absolutely no reason to think, looking at the game, that there was any cheating happening. And when you objectively look at the game, basically what happened was that Magnus lost. Magnus lost because by his high standards, he did not play well. On the other hand, Niemann played very solidly. He didn't play brilliantly, but there's no reason to suggest that he used a computer to assist him in playing what was a very solid game, which Magnus genuinely lost. It's an entirely different situation
I've been
where...
following chess.
Yep.
You go.
Okay, it's an entirely different situation in the online position. And of course, the second tournament that you refer to is the Julius Baer tournament, which is a generational tournament. And we call it generational because the youngest player is 15 and the eldest is 53. And Magnus is in the middle at the age of about 31. And as we know, when he was paired to play Baer, he resigned. That is to say, Magnus resigned after playing only one move. Observers interpret that as a protest, and Magnus has refrained from being specific about what his supposed allegation is. Magnus, of course, is aware of the scuttlebutt, if you like.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm actually pushed for time. Hopefully we'll have another opportunity to have a discussion about this because I've never seen anything like it. This is more intriguing than any of the machinations I saw in politics, I've got to tell you. Paul Power, thank you for your insights. I appreciate it, and we'll catch up again another time soon.